My dear brothers and sisters, it is Brother Gabriel Mira again here with you. And please, I want to say thank you very much for all of you who have been actually supporting us in this channel, and even for those who've always continued, listening to this channel as they follow and all that. Now, at first, when I saw this, I thought it was a compilation of a video, an edited video. That is what I thought. It was an edited video. But one friend of mine confirmed to me that in actual sense, this is true, that these two leaders actually had a meeting. And it is so scary when you see two leaders, exchange words just like that. And a lot of people are actually, actually suffering outside there. People are suffering outside there. And leaders are actually exchanging words and they are bitter with each other and all that. Now, this one, it is to me, when I saw it, and I remember I watched it about I think I watched it 3 times, because I really wanted to be sure, is this Zelensky? Is this Donald Trump talking to Zelensky, who is the president of Ukraine? And all of you know what exactly Ukraine is going through. And initially, countries, especially the NATO alliance, they had actually backed Zelensky initially. But now it seems like NATO alliance is actually, taking off. They are stopping their support for Ukraine, And this is very disturbing. But my wonderful brothers and sisters, one thing we need to know is that everything that is happening in the world today, it is actually spiritual, and it is designed that way so that the elects can learn from these things. The elects can learn from these things. Because when a war erupts between two nations, those that suffer are the innocent ones. But those who are the owners of different interests and the initiators of this war, actually they don't even feel the impact, because with them they will only discuss in higher tables while drinking water, and discussing like that. But families of people who are common people, those are the people that suffer. And I watched this video and I was shocked, because initially I used to think that it is an edited video, because nowadays you cannot trust just anything you see. So I watched it and somebody confirmed to me that this is real. Can somebody just also confirm to me in the comments there if this was real or this was just an edited video? But I think from the way it is, it looks real. And please listen to what these two leaders are talking about. Kindly.
People, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position.
I
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you don't.
I'm
Yeah,
very
you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you think
You're
about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's
with
back
all
to you,
respect to your
far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October.
Oh.
Offer some words of appreciation for
What-
the United States
what
of
are you
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I...
You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying-
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
Yes. What about West
If
Indies?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me.
you
Somebody tell me this is not true. Wow. Somebody tell me this is not true. The tension in that house, the tension that I can feel, man, terrible. Very terrible. It is so sad. Very, very sad. I tell you that, and that's why the scripture speaks of the rulers of the world. The rulers of the world. Now, each one of them has a spirit. Each one of them has a spirit. And that's why now I understand at times when the spirit he's actually, gets into a certain leader, the consequences are dire to that country because of a leader who's accepted or sold his agency to be used of the devil. The consequences are the people in that country that actually pay dearly. Pay dearly. This is sad. This is very sad. And that's why sometimes when Apostle Paul is talking about leaders who are actually inspired of the Lord, and when he counsels with the saints that they should obey the law of the land and pay allegiance and respect to their leaders because they are called of God, that leaders are chosen by God. But also, if we are not careful, there are also leaders who are not actually godly. There are leaders who are only chosen by men simply because men wanted them to be there. And one of the biggest example, it is when the children of Israel started telling God, we are sick of judges. We want our own king. We want to be like other nations. So they really forced the Lord to give them a king. And all of you know what happened. They found themselves under the dictates of King Saul. And King Saul did more than harm to the children of Israel. Because why? Because King Saul was being used of another spirit. He was possessed of another spirit. And that's why at times when David will play songs and David will play certain songs praising God, King Saul will not actually be happy because he had a demon in him that was only catastrophic. And my dear wonderful brothers and sisters, we need to be very careful when we choose our leaders because And sometimes I wonder if people pray before they cast their votes. I don't know. I don't know if people pray when they cast their votes. But I bleed for the land of Ukraine, and I bleed for Ukrainians. Though I don't know where Ukraine is. I don't know where Ukraine is. But I saw some of the pictures of that land, how it has been demolished, some of the cities, the way they are destroyed. I actually don't know. And sometimes also you'll find, like for this case, from what I'm seeing here, looks like Zelensky decided to found himself in that situation simply because of other leaders who told him that they will back him up. But now they are betraying him. But they had promised that they will back him up. But finally they are betraying him. They are leaving him alone. So this is something that is very, very bad and not very wise, because it has costed lives. It has costed lives, brother. Costed life. That's why a leader is chosen by God. A leader is chosen by God. And you can see what President Trump is just giving him directly there. He's just telling him directly, which is, man, just listen to this.
If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe
new.
Less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again,
I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
I can tell you
you're
again,
running low on soldiers.
Don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look. If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you
that wasn't with me.
Means.
That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
That was with Obama. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry, here.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together. We'll see. I don't know.
Sisters, sometimes politics is never fair. But that's how it is, because it's actually made of men. Politics is never fair. And I wonder what is that thing there, the black thing, I think. Well, what exactly is that? It looks like some kind of a ritual from the African divination. I don't know what is that. But brothers and sisters, when I follow this conversation, let me tell you, it's very tough. Because the death of people cannot be determined by only 2-3 people sitting on a table and discussing what is going to happen. And then they end up causing a lot of people dying. You know, that one is quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate because you can hear there President Trump is saying that this guy made a deal with the former regime, that is the Biden and Trump regime. Biden and Obama's regime, and they're the ones who actually put him in that mess. And he's gone back to President Trump to actually make another deal with President Trump. And you can see Trump is as open as possible. He wants the American people to know what was happening, and you could see he's actually so much on Trump. He's actually so much on Biden that Biden made a blunder. They made a blunder to convince Zelensky to do what he did, which is actually now backfiring to the Ukrainian people. My wonderful brothers and sisters, that is politics. And that is why sometimes we need to be very wise when choosing leaders in our nations. We need to be very wise. And the prophets have always taught us that we need exactly to seek the will of God in the right way. You need to seek the will of God. You need to pray about it before you go cast your vote. You need to be very, very vigilant on what exactly is happening. Otherwise, you might actually vote a demon in your very own countries, and the people will suffer. Believe you me, I've seen it in most of the African countries over what is happening. Millions and millions of children die because of a bogus leader. And right now, there are parts of Eastern Congo which are actually going through serious problems in Congo. There are serious problems going on in Congo right now. And nobody actually gives a damn. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. Why? Because of bad leadership. You know, look at what the Ukrainian people have gone through. Was Zelensky a puppet to Biden, or was he a puppet to President Biden, the former American regime? That is actually a nut to crack. But one thing is that, my wonderful brothers and sisters, let's be prayerful. Let's be prayerful before we decide on who to choose for leadership. We need to be very prayerful. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you. I'm looking forward to see you again next time. Thank you.